Well, good morning. I'd like to call the Subcommittee on Digital Commerce and Consumer Protection to order. And before we begin our opening statements, I'd like to say how pleased I am to have all of our FTC Commissioners before us today. And what I'd like to do before I begin my opening remarks is to introduce our FTC Commissioners. Today we have Chairman Joe Simons, who was sworn into office on May 1st. Before joining the Commission, the Chairman was a partner at Paul Weiss and co-chair of the firm's antitrust group. He previously served at the Commission in various positions between 1987 and 1989, as well as 2001-2003. Next, we have Commissioner Maureen Oberhausen, who was sworn into office on April the 4th, 2012, and served as acting FTC chairman between January 2017 and May 1st, 2018. Prior to joining the FTC, she was a partner at Wilkinson, Barker & Nauer, LLP. She previously served at the Commission for 11 years in various capacities and leadership roles. We thank the Commissioner for her leadership for the past 15 months when she was acting chair and for her work at the agency. Commissioner Noah Phillips was sworn into office on May 2nd, 2018. Before joining the Commission, he served as Chief Counsel to Senator John Cornyn of Texas. Commissioner Rohit Chopra was also sworn in on May 2nd, 2018, previously served as a senior fellow at the Consumer Federation of America. And finally, we have Commissioner Rebecca Slaughter, sworn in on May 2nd, 2018, and prior to joining the Commission, Commissioner Slaughter served as Chief Counsel of Senator Chuck Schumer of New York. Our witnesses have a strong fidelity to public service, and they are once again being asked to serve the American people to maintain competitive markets to protect consumers against unfair and deceptive acts and practices. And again, we thank you very much for being with us today. And at this time now, I'll recognize myself for a 5-minute opening statement. Our hearing today will focus on oversight of the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC functions as the top cop on the beat and keeps consumers safe to promote a vibrant free market in the United States. We look forward to working with FTC on specific issues relating to the subcommittee's jurisdiction, including self-driving cars, data security, the Internet of Things, blockchain technologies, privacy issues, deceptive advertising, robocalls, and more. Emerging consumer protection issues are at the forefront of this committee. Recently, I joined Chairman Walden, Chairman Blackburn, and Chairman Harper, sending letters to Apple and Google, asking them to explain how smartphone users' data is protected and when audio recording data and location information is compiled and shared. This morning, we'll be sending letters to location data aggregator Location Smart, Securus, and 3C Interactive Corporation. We continue to remain concerned about cyber crime, estimated to cost millions to the global economy each year, and how business prioritize protecting the most sensitive data they hold about individuals. As we all know, there is no such thing as 100% perfect security. We will continue to work with regulators to understand what transpired in the recent high-profile breaches and what we should learn from these actions for the future. The Economist proclaims the world's most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. I look forward to a thoughtful discussion on the appropriate steps the FTC is considering, including the Chairman's recently announced hearings on 21st century challenges. In my remaining time, I'd like to hear how Chairman Simons will work to utilize the FTC's annual funding to its greatest need and impact, judiciously using the taxpayers' dollars, including on the FTC's current priorities, authorities, and performance, including its human resources, efforts at securing, retaining the best experts in the fields of antitrust and consumer protection. While we are in a challenging fiscal environment, the House Appropriation Committee approved $2 million more to the FTC than the agency requested for fiscal year 2019. I'm also encouraged by the large refunds the FTC has been able to return directly to consumers. Most recently to Uber drivers and customers who bought deceptively marketed bedbug products, consumers in both cases receiving average checks over $200. This is a unique tool in the FTC toolbox. The FTC has returned over $543 million to consumers and deposited $94 million in the U.S. Treasury. FTC orders in the Volkswagen, Amazon, and NetSpend matters require defendants to self-administer consumer refund programs worth more than $11.5 billion. The FTC enforcement authorities are broad and far-reaching. The unique position of the FTC as the civil law enforcement agency for the majority of the U.S. economy cannot be taken lightly. Calls for expanded rulemaking authority, shifting the agency from its expertise in enforcement to regulatory and rulemaking raises serious questions for me because Congress has explicitly granted the agency rulemaking that has not been utilized in years. Some may argue that the FTC is not equipped to handle the challenge of today, but I believe their actions speak louder than words. The FTC has vigorously defended its jurisdiction and consumers, and we have no reason to believe that will stop anytime soon. Finally, the FTC plays an important enforcement role in the EU-US Privacy Shield framework, particularly relating to compliance and enforcement of U.S. businesses. With a second annual review of the Privacy Shield by the European Commission coming this fall, we want to hear about FTC's and the consumer's role and the commissioner's roles, and what can this committee do to help make sure the 3,100 businesses, including small businesses, continue to have access to the Privacy Shield. Again, at this time, I want to thank our witnesses for being here today. And at this time, I'm going to yield to the gentlelady from Illinois, the ranking member of the subcommittee, for 5 minutes for an opening statement.